This is so college football always, but certainly college football today. And that is acting like someone's your best friend, and then when they turn around, you just shove them off a cliff. College football programs that are not a football factory, a blue blood in the SEC or the Big Ten, you had better look out. You're about to be told you're our best friend. And then in the process, you're going to turn around and you're going to be shoved off the cliff by the person who says you're our best friend. That's what's going to happen to you, and it's happening to you right now if you are not an absolute blue blood in the Big Ten or the SEC. Oh, they're going to smile at you and say how much they like you. And we got something for you. And they're going to say, go look over there to get it shoved off the cliff. The two football cartels, that's what I will call them. The two giant football cartels are not so quietly going to leave everyone else behind. And they're going to demand a ransom in the process. And even then, just so you know, everyone who's not a blue blood in the SEC, has anyone not noticed that as the University of Texas moves, so does the greed? But they're going to demand a ransom as well. And then even when that happens, right, even when they are going to leave you behind, they're going to leave you to die, and they're going to demand a ransom, they're going to let you die. You just need to mark today as the day that it's starting to end for you if you are not a blue blood in the SEC or a blue blood in the Big Ten. Those programs, the blue bloods in those two conferences, and you could argue a network too, they're in the process of taking over the playoff and the TV deals and saying, we're not going to let you starve. This is to everyone else. But here's a bottle of water and some crackers to keep you alive for at least a few weeks. That's what's happening. And I don't know how anybody doesn't see it. Oh, I suspect they might, and they can't do anything about it. The Big Ten and the SEC have reportedly, and I don't think this is an accident at all that it's getting out now, but they have proposed what I think is pretty much a land and money grab. And everyone else can have like this little bitty piece of land just to survive. So Texas Tech, TCU, Oklahoma State, Houston, Baylor, and the others that are not blue bloods, football factories in the SEC or the Big Ten, you're about to be left completely behind, and your survival as a football program, the way you know it now, is iffy at best. I suspect you don't make it, at least the way you look now. Here's what's amazing about what's happening right now, what's proposed right now, what's being leaked right now, is that the idiotic playoff system that has existed so far, I think it's idiotic. But it has gone, or is in the process of going from 4 teams, as we all know, to 12 teams. What's amazing about today is before the 12-team playoff even starts, the Big Ten and the SEC are already reportedly working on creating a 16-team playoff. We haven't had one 12-team playoff game yet, and look what's happening. This should give you an indication of how quickly they are going to shove you, Baylor, Texas Tech, and the rest off a cliff. You're not going to make it, okay? There's not been a single game in the 12-team playoff. And they're already working on ways to reduce the number of non-SEC, non-Big Ten football blue bloods. Imagine what happens in a month or two. Imagine what happens in 6 months. You're going to be gone. You're going to be gone. Okay, so all this stuff is happening. Now, what I'm about to talk about is happening before a single 12-team playoff game has even started. And if you aren't in one of these two leagues, they're going to cut you out before the system has even started. So if you think about that, how long do you think before you're completely out of it, Big 12, ACC? I mean, if your numbers are being cut down already and this thing hasn't even started yet, imagine what happens in a year or two. I'm no antitrust lawyer, by the way, but I'm thinking this might end up in court. It certainly could be a political fight. Now, in the end, there's one giant beast that wins every single time. It loses no fight because money is no object. Okay? That beast will win in the end. Oh, it's just a few miles from where I'm sitting right now. Always will win. But I'm thinking this could be classic antitrust here. Probably meets every standard. So the system right now is in the process, if what is reported is true, it is in the process of being rigged more than the rigged system that we already had before, which was a rigged system before that. What is being proposed, and you're going to say, well, Jeff, how do you not like this idea? What I don't like is hiding, smiling at your best friend and shoving them off the cliff. Why don't you just tell them, you know what, I'm about to throw you off a cliff. That's the problem I have. So what is leaked now is being kicked around is a 14-team playoff. Remember, the 12 one hasn't even happened. 14-team playoff with automatic bids, 3 automatic bids for the SEC, for the Big Ten. Wait, Jeff, there's 14 teams. I know. Exactly. What's the math? 2 for the ACC and the Big 12. In other words, at least as of today, you guys are lucky to get 4 teams in. We'll take 8. Remember how fast this is happening. Okay, just keep that in mind. If it's happening where, you know what, maybe we shouldn't do that thing where they had, last week the proposal was the system was going to be 5 teams, the highest ranked teams from conferences were getting in. Now they're saying, you know what, we better cut that number down. It hadn't even happened yet. And they're cutting you out. You're going to be left to die. The rich guys are going to run off and leave you, Baylor, Texas Tech, Houston, and everyone else who's not a blue blood. You're in the process of getting shoved off that cliff. What sucks is they're smiling at you and acting like they're your friend in the process instead of being brutally honest. So that's what's reported now. It's being reported by ESPN, Yahoo Sports, and everyone else. Now, okay, wait a second. Let me get that, Jeff. So there's a now we're saying before we even have 12, we're going to actually have 14. And then there's going to be 6 from the Big 2, the football factories, the SEC and the Big 10, and then 2 for the ACC and the Big 12, right? Yeah. So this is a money grab. This is cartels. This is what cartels do. This is a duopoly. This is almost like politics, to be honest with you. So what they would like to do, in my opinion, these 2 monopolies, those are the 2 leagues, is they want to make the college football playoff, which is going to 12 teams next year, maybe. They want these 2 super conferences want to monopolize the playoff spots and the TV money and essentially start to own the entire thing while pretending, my opinion, they're creating a playoff spot for everyone else. Okay? The number of other programs that get in has already been reduced and the thing hasn't even started. Where do you think it's going to go next? You think they're going to open it up to more? No. Today you get 3 spots, so be happy. That's everyone else. But next week it'll be 2. Wait, then the week after that, what are we even doing this for? Let's make it 1. Then somebody says, a network, says, wait a second. Why even have any of these teams that aren't from the Big 10 or the SEC? Why are we even bothering with them? Who cares? What were we thinking 2 weeks ago when we said you can have 5 spots? And then we changed our mind and said you can have 3 or 4 spots. What were we even thinking? Let's just cut them out altogether. Who cares what happens to them? That's where this is going, in my opinion, and it's going there really fast. Do with it what you want. If you're a Texas football fan, you don't care. You'll trample anybody. They don't care. They'll take the whole TV deal themselves if they have it their way, but smile at everyone in the process and say, we're negotiating for you. Don't worry, we'll take care of you. And then they shove you off a cliff. So they're going to say, I'm predicting now, I think this is already pretty obvious. They're going to say, well, no, nobody wants to watch Baylor. I mean, who cares? Nobody wants to watch TCU. Nobody wants to watch Houston or Texas Tech or Rutgers or some of these people. What's amazing about this is apparently they're not wasting any time in doing this, and they're not really hiding it but they're pretending to be the best friends, the Big Ten and the SEC, the Blue Bloods, with everyone else. Now, I know someone's going to say, well, you know what, Jeff? Who really cares? People only want to see the Blue Bloods anyway, so why get anybody else a chance? Why even invite them in? And no one really wants to watch them. And I guess that's probably true. Stop pretending that you're having a big playoff. Stop pretending that you are inviting someone else in. I mean, they pretended that 2 weeks ago. They pretended that 2 years ago. I'm not even sure they're pretending anymore. Nobody wants to see, Jeff, TCU or Houston or Texas Tech. So too bad. Let's just get on with it. Okay. You're right. This isn't about involving them. This is about excluding them while pretending they matter. This is about excluding them while pretending that you're going to invite them to the party. That's what this is. So, what's the answer? They're getting really close, and it's happening at a rapid pace. You're just going to end up with 2 super conferences, and then they can do what they want. This is the way Texas operates. Wherever they go, have you not noticed? Wherever they go, stuff just gets blown up around them, and then they're left standing, and they're saying, you understand, we call all the shots. All the money, all the power. Okay, so what's going to happen now is I suspect the fast track is towards these 2 super conferences, but that's where it then gets to the next level. All right, so you can be fine with 12-team playoff, originally offered 5 spots. In essence, was saying 5 conference champions and then 7, all of whom probably come from the Big Ten or the SEC, get picked by a selection committee, having bagels at a hotel. They pick the committee. They're going to pick 7 SEC or Big Ten teams, period. Okay, it's a rigged system. Now it's 14 teams, and you know what? I don't know. We need to invite so many people in. So why don't we just make that where Big 12 you get 2, and ACC you get 2. You're whining a lot, and then we'll go from there. And all this has happened before the system has even started. So it's a fast track to 2 super conferences, but within the super conference is going to be the next level of fight. So right now they're going to kill off, in the process of killing off the Big 12, in the process of killing off the ACC, but pretending you're giving them a little bit, like you're giving them some crackers and water. Okay, hey, you guys shut up over there. At least you get one team, at least one of you gets to come play with us for the playoff. We're going to let you in for now. And then they're going to shut the door on that and say, you know what, we're not going to let you in at all. Then the next level, I'm going to predict, because it seems plainly obvious, if this is really just about giving the public the blue bloods that it really wants in the end, okay, that's Ohio State, Michigan, Texas, Alabama, Oklahoma, blah, blah, blah. Got it? The blue bloods. And nobody can fight. If you got Texas on your side, nobody wins the fight. They win all fights. They dominate everything. So they're now the SEC's in bed with the 800-pound gorilla. So there's no one really can fight back at this point. And I suspect they're probably already talking to networks, and any network is going to say, yeah, let's not put TCU on our screen again, please. Let's not put Boise State on our screen. Got it? And then the next conversation, why don't we just make 2 super conferences? And then someone's going to say, I'm predicting, wait, why are we even inviting Mississippi State? Well, they don't matter. No one cares about Rutgers. No one cares about Indiana. Nobody cares about Vanderbilt. Yeah. What are we doing with these people in bed with us? Let's get rid of them too. Let's just make this thing what it really is. That's big brands, blue bloods, and only big brands and blue bloods. What I don't like, and what nobody should like, and what is disgusting in a lawless, rudderless, leaderless industry is that, number one, they act like they're negotiating with everyone when it's really just a money and land grab for 2 leagues. And then they're telling you they're going to give you a spot, but they're in the process of kicking you out. 2, they're allowing this stupid selection committee to remain intact. And then their job is clearly just to create a rigged system for the Big Ten and the SEC. And then 3, it's got nothing to do with the schools themselves. The institutions, places where there's classrooms and diplomas and stuff like that. I mean, it is so far removed from that, it's not even funny. So agree or disagree, but I think the fast track here is, 1, reduce their options, create a 14-team playoff, which, by the way, I'm fine with. I think there's more teams. It should look just like the NFL. No committees. You play your way in. But don't laugh and shove these other schools off the cliff at the same time. But if you're connecting the dots here, they're not just going to try to kill off every other league. Or not kill off, just say you don't get to play in the big show. You go do something else. Go to the Citrus Bowl or something. We don't really care. TCU, you're not going to find your way in this playoff again because you don't belong. They're not just in the process of doing that. I think the next wave has to be internal, killing off your own. The Vanderbilts, the Mississippi States, those people even within the Big Ten and the SEC. Why not just make it the true blue blood football factories and forget everyone else? That'll be the next round of conversations. The question is, how quickly do those happen?